hear something different. There's a war going on in Syria. Their focus is, that's natural, they're seeing. But I think what the overall is an anti-imperialist focus against war and against the situation they're in. Like in people in Southeast Asia, they're seeing the danger of war on the Korean Peninsula and global NATO, and that sailing their ships between Taiwan and the People's Republic of China up and down the coast there with their nuclear missiles. So there's different, and depends on a lot on the situation in each country, what will be their focus of their campaigns. I mean, I think we have world campaigns like against nuclear, the nuclear bomb, nuclear weapons. That's one thing that, I mean, it's for everyone. And supporting the United Nations and things like that. But, I mean, there's campaigns, I think, a lot in Latin America, of course, is different. So I think it's kind of naturally that there's different campaigns in different countries.
And for example, in the Americas, the people of Venezuela and El Salvador and Brazil have been quite busy trying to deal with the attacks from outside, and then in the case of Brazil, dealing with the fascist forces of Bolsonaro. And that was another question that was discussed, is the tendency towards fascism in quite a few countries. And Sir Carl Gomez was very pleased to be able to discuss the new president of Brazil and sees that his election is quite an advance over what the country has been facing. Although I'm sure, like our neighbor to the south of us, they're not exactly out of the woods yet, because these fascist forces don't seem to have a habit of just going away.
Does he have support in their Congress or whatever? Because you can see what happened in Peru with Coucil. He was deposed in basically a judicial coup by the right-wing forces. I don't know what the situation is in Brazil.
My turn? Okay. I just wanted to point out, I just was in the process of watching this film called Haiti Betrayed this morning, actually. And I would highly recommend it. It's really well done. It's about Canada's involvement as well as the history of what's happened in Haiti. And the director, I believe, is someone called Elaine Briere, who's quite well known in Canada. And it can be found on the internet, but you have to pay for it. So I hadn't watched it yet, being cheap, right? And but then this last webinar that had Tamara Lorenz in it, I don't remember the title of that webinar, but it had a free code to put in to you can access that movie for free now. What was the name of that? Okay, well I emailed it to a couple of people, but I have it if anyone, I kept it if anyone wants it. And in that film, Chrétien was actually speaking, which is really interesting, because he was on there saying that, questioning that Canada shouldn't be involved in Iraq because they just invaded Haiti with the U.S. as a concession, and he said they weren't going to do it in Iraq, but then of course later we all know that they have been involved in Afghanistan. So I don't want to make Chrétien into a hero.
Well, no. Okay, so I think Heather with Helen's assistants are gonna show us something.
Just a few pictures.
Heather, can you face us when you talk so people can hear you?
Like down?
Thank you. Yeah.
Right there, right down.
I think that's somewhere there.
Okay, so before the actual meeting, there was the executive meeting of the World Peace Council. This is some of the traffic we encountered when we were going to Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. I tried to put them in some sort of order, but maybe that hasn't. Lots and lots of motorcycles. That's a Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. There are lots of students there going into the mausoleum. There's also a park, a very big park there. This is where the governor from former Indochina, when it was French, where they had their governor's mansion. There was a parade when we got there at the mausoleum. Ho Chi Minh did not live in the governor's house. He lived in a stilt house, and this is something that we also visited. It looked pretty good, but it only had 3 rooms, and he was a man that didn't. He was a man that was not influenced by all of the wealth that was around him. This is the actual governor's mansion.
That would have been built by the French.
Was built in French. This is Miss Na, who welcomed us and talked about Vietnam and the progress it was making. Zimwa, in the hotel lobby, they had some shops, some vendors there that were selling clothes and giving away brushes and giving away different things. This is one of the fellows at the shop. This is the dress of the formal wear of the women in Vietnam, and this was influenced also by Ho Chi Minh because the country looks like an S. The World Peace Council motto starting on the 21st. This is Miguel Figueroa, who is the president of the Canadian Peace Council. This fellow was from Jamaica. This was at the reception at the palace, and they have a bust of Ho Chi Minh there. Some of the delegates, and this is an opulent, really opulent room that we were in. We are also given gifts from the president, and something else. Okay. This is a close-up of the palace. A delegate from Angola. She is the Puerto Rican. She's actually a parliamentarian in Puerto Rico, and she's a delegate from New Zealand. This is the Chinese person given an address. This is a fellow from Iran. He's one of the most handsome fellows that was there. I know this.
No subject.
We
Oh my gosh. I even had to tell Ed. Yeah. This girl. We had a barbecue the last evening before we went off to Halong Bay. And this was really interesting. They put coals in there, and then they put the meat on top, and then the girl came and cut up the meat. There's some veggies there, some carbs there. We had some soup. I had some soup. And that's the 3 of us. There's some of the girls there on the bus to Halong Bay. She was the most beautiful. Now, this is a watermelon that was carved. that was placed on the table. That is one watermelon, that is another watermelon, and that was a third watermelon.
Nice face.
Going to Halong Bay, ships on Halong Bay. We visited cave at Halong Bay. Some of the delegates, he's also from Iran, she's from Brazil. Samoa. Apartments in Halong Bay. That's breakfast. Breakfast is more like lunch.
Wait one, Carol.
Yeah, corn at breakfast if you wanted corn. This is Socorro Gomez. She was she's the past president of the World Peace Congress and from Brazil. Another apartment in Halong Bay. Apartments driving through the city. And then we got to, after the conference, we stayed another week in Old Hanoi. And this is one of the indications of a gay nightclub. One of the interesting things about the housing there is that the houses are very narrow, about 20 feet wide, very tall, and then there are trees and gardens on top. This is going up to the top of the hotel we are at that we stayed for breakfast. You gotta walk up those stairs. There's some eggs breakfast, mango juice, and yogurt with fruit, a croissant with omelette with veggies, butter. I had noodles for breakfast. You get a lot of noodles for breakfast. We are on a dragon boat. We are going to another city. We are in another city going on tour. And there's lots of old history also in Vietnam. Part of the river. This is also in that same area that we were at. One of the things that was here, it was a car of a priest that burnt himself to death during I think it was before the Vietnam War. During the Vietnam War. This is a picture of the entrance to the Forbidden City, where the emperors lived and no one else was allowed in. Everything was in the city, and you were not allowed out.
Oh.
If you died and you were a worker there, your people had to collect your body from outside. You were not allowed. That's where the emperor said. The teenagers, from what I understand, they dress up in their traditional wear and hang around, go different places and stuff, just showing off. Theirs was a French colonial office outside of the inner city. It's in a bit of disrepair, but they were reconstructing the inner city. And this is Australian fellow and Filipino girlfriend that we hung out with when we were touring that same city. I have other pictures on another thing, so hopefully you'll be able to see those.
Why did the priest burn himself?
He burned himself as a protest against the U.S., what they were doing.
Okay.
The bomb in Vietnam.
Buddhist.
He's
Oh, he's a Buddhist, okay.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of people in Vietnam who are still Buddhists.
Yes.
Pretty Buddhist, yeah.
There's still I see, like the food is some, influence of French influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very good food.
It would be, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Do they drink wine?
Yeah, yeah, we had wine as part of the meal quite regularly.
We also had wine on the plane going over.
Yeah,
They gave us food with silverware and stuff like that. We were in economy.
yeah, we were in economy and got treated, like, to me, it was like being treated like royalty.
What
Yeah.
airline?
What airline was that?
EVA, it's called
EVA.
EVA.
What country is that from?
I don't know.
It's either China or Vietnam. No, it's not Vietnam, but it's an Asian airline.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious me. I had more pictures. I don't know. Oh, goodness. Oh, okay.
We met a lot of interesting people. In fact, we met a young Filipino woman and her husband who teach in Vietnam so they can send money home to the Philippines. And she told us there are 20,000 other Filipinos doing the same thing in Vietnam.
So it's not
They're
just in
doing it here.
Canada, they're
No.
doing it in other Asian
Yeah.
countries.
Right. So that is in front of the palace, and this fella here is the president of Vietnam. There is Edward. There's, and this fella, he's very important. He was the convener or something. This girl from Angola. And this business person. There. All the delegates there. Okay, let me see if it can figure out something else. Okay, this is just driving on the bridge to the airport.
Nice bridge.
Very beautiful bridge. These are little chairs, I call them baby chairs, that the fellows sit on the patios and have coffee in the evening or afternoon. They're really tiny. Look at them. Look at that. Let's take this to another tall house. Lots of grass and stuff. That was in the airport. Christmas tree. Christmas tree. I have to delete some of those. Another tall house. This is the hotel we stayed at in Hoi An.
We stayed a week after the conference ourselves.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
This is almost like I know what this is. This is in Da Nang, and this is where the Americans bombed the place. It was not wrecked. The Americans came and they bombed it within
Really?
30
Wow.
minutes. 2,000 years of work was destroyed. Wow.
Oh, nice rainy
Those
day.
are big umbrellas.
Yeah, we got them from the hotel. Because it was raining.
Oh, that's a nice picture.
It rained a lot. We did a lot of stuff in the rain. These are the bombs that the Americans dropped. That's our guide.
That's pretty nice. That's cute.
There's also
We went to a wax museum.
there's like Disney World there also, and I'm thinking they're really Americanized, boy. That's going up to the cable car to get up to Disney World in the cable car with our guide. Oh yeah, Wax Museum again. That's Pablo Castle.
Pablo Picasso.
Einstein. The Royal Family. Bruce Willis. Obama. Yeltsin.
No, that's okay.
Putin. Okay, Putin.
Barack Obama? No, I don't think we're.
Of course, you know who that is. Yeah. Okay. Driving. No, we also went on a train. We were able to fly twice with Vietnamese Airlines. I went on a train. That is the little road to the villas at the hotel. And the girls, they make clothes there. We were thinking about making clothes there, making a dress there, but it's never twisted. Or bed. This bed was high. Most of the beds were really low. A few part of the city. One of the interesting things we found is that you can stay in your bed and look in the bathroom because there's this big glass there. You can lower the shades,
Yeah, I
but
don't
you
understand.
can look in the bathroom. That was in 2 different hotels that we found that. There's just no scene for one of the hotels. One of the fellas that the Australian or the other person. We went to see 2 mausoleums of the emperors, the 12th emperor and the 13th emperor. And that's the going up to the room. That's actually gosh. Okay, we're back. Boy, the girls outside.
Are they still using rickshaws? And there's several different names for them today, but
Yeah, we did that, but I don't think she's gonna interfere till that.
okay. Were they people on bicycles or were they actually running or walking?
No,
they're
no,
bicycles.
on bicycles.
On bicycles now.
They're mostly for tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the restaurants, this is Vietnamese airlines. They're very long, the airlines. Yeah, I think we're back to right.
Yeah.
That's certainly,
Yeah. There was some more on Ed's phone, but I couldn't do anything. What's that?
Yes. Yes.
What was amazing to me is that there's lots of bridges, lots of infrastructure.
And we went by plane from Hanoi. I'm trying to think of the name of the city. Not Hoi An, but the other one.
Da Nang and Halong.
No, not there. We went the other way, on the plane. Anyway, we went from Hanoi inland, and we went through an area of a lot of forest, and none of it had been touched.
I was on a train.
Okay. And well, I was impressed that they've obviously decided that there's a lot of forest that they're gonna just leave alone.
fairly well.
And when we drive through the Rockies, we often experience these areas that have just been clear cut and are just gonna cause all kinds of environmental problems.
Try going to Jan Lake, all they're doing is
Just
cutting.
stay.
truckloads of it, truckloads of it going on.
Very mountainous, eh, Vietnam?
Yeah.
It's very long, and we were in the north where Hanoi is, and the people were complaining it was cold because it was winter. And then we went central Vietnam, and it was winter, but it rained like crazy. It rained. And then they say South Vietnam is warm, but we didn't get to Ho Chi Minh. We didn't get to Ho Chi Minh City.
But we were quite warm where we were. And we were complaining about sweating so much.
You weren't
Cold is
climatized
all
yet, that's
relative.
Yeah, yeah,
When you got home, it was cold.
yeah.
That was not exaggeration.
Yeah.
It was
without
minus 35,
exaggeration.
wasn't it, when you got here?
Yeah. And I broke down one day. I wasn't gonna buy anything because I don't like carrying too much in suitcases. But this lady prevailed upon us to get a pair of shoes made. And she showed us the work she does, and with leather, making leather, handmade leather shoes. And she had it all figured out. It's only 51 US dollars. Well, I knew that was a deal. So I relented and said, okay, make me one. And I didn't know I was taking a gamble on her because she was going to bring them to the hotel the next day where we were going to be before we got the plane. And she sent a man to the reception at the hotel. She was supposed to have it there by 3 o'clock. Well, he was there at 2:30. Make sure we got the shoes.
That was the next.
Yeah,
She made you a pair of shoes overnight.
yeah.
And you didn't wear them to model for us?
No.
Come on.
Just wanna get them.
Okay, the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want, we expect next meeting.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing there, they train people to be seamstresses, to be shoemakers, literally, to do different things. And I think in this country, we fall down on that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's not